Why the Aztecs practiced mass human sacrifice. They were famous for their massive cities, architectural marvels that burst through the jungle canopy. Known for their fierce warriors and bloody rituals, the Aztecs built a colossal empire right in the heart of what we now call Mexico. The story of the Aztec people is shrouded in mystery and legend. Historians believe that around the year 1065, a massive migration of different tribes kicked off, all heading towards the Valley of Mexico. Why? We're not entirely sure. The story of the Aztec people is shrouded in mystery and legend. Historians believe that around the year 1065, a massive migration of different tribes kicked off, all heading towards the Valley of Mexico. Why? We're not entirely sure, but an ancient Aztec legend might hold the answer. It all started in a place called Chicamostoc, the place of the 7 caves. 7 tribes lived there, all speaking the same language, Nahuatl. For reasons lost to time, they left their home and settled in a mythical paradise called Aztlan. This is where they began to call themselves Aztecs, which simply means the people of Aztlan. But paradise didn't last. In Aztlan, some tribes grew more powerful, and a tyrannical elite began to rule with an iron fist. To escape the oppression, several tribes fled, looking for a new home. Among them were the Mexica, the tribe that would spread the Aztec culture and build its greatest cities. According to the legend in 1323, the Mexica priests had a vision. They saw an eagle perched on a cactus, devouring a snake. This was the sign. This was the spot where they were meant to build their new world. So, they founded the city of Tenochtitlan on a small, swampy island in the middle of Lake Texcoco. It was a strategic, defensible position, right in the basin of Mexico. A true dynasty was born, but they weren't free. The Mexica were still under the thumb of the powerful Tepanec kingdom. They had to pay tribute, sending their own warriors to fight in Tepanec wars. After years of being pushed around, the Mexica had enough. They teamed up with other local tribes and waged a brutal war against the Tepanecs. Their enemies were crushed, their cities captured. With this single victory, Tenochtitlan became the dominant power in the valley. The Mexica and their allies formed a triple alliance, the foundation upon which the mighty Aztec Empire was built. Aztec society was strictly divided by class. At the very top, you had the nobility. They had all the perks: the right to wear fancy clothes, own luxury goods, and control vast lands worked by commoners. The most powerful nobles were the lords. They ran the show, owning huge estates and holding the highest positions in the government and the military. Below them were the commoners, the farmers and laborers. Their work was the engine of the empire, producing food and generating wealth. Some didn't own land and worked directly for a lord, a system not unlike the feudalism of medieval Europe. The swampy, humid environment of the Valley of Mexico, with its many lakes, was perfect for intensive farming. They grew corn, beans, squash, and chili peppers. But their real agricultural genius was the chinampas. These were man-made floating gardens, built from layers of mud from the lake bed and vegetation. This incredible innovation allowed them to grow crops all year round. As Tenochtitlan grew into a massive urban center, they needed fresh water, so they built incredible aqueducts to bring water from springs on the mainland. They even had a waste collection system using human waste as fertilizer. These engineering feats made Tenochtitlan a city that could rival ancient Rome in its sophistication and architectural genius. The city itself, where Mexico City now stands, was a masterpiece of planning. It was centered around the Great Pyramid of Tenochtitlan, a colossal structure that soared 50 meters, about 164 feet above the city. The temple was dedicated to the gods of war, rain, and agriculture. Each god had a shrine at the top of the pyramid with its own separate massive staircase leading up to it. The Aztecs were huge patrons of the arts. They saw artistic skill, writing, painting, poetry, music, and sculpture as a sign of true intellect. Artisans were highly respected. Some crafted fine pottery, others made intricate featherwork for warriors and nobles, and many were skilled metallurgists, working with copper and gold. The Aztecs used 2 calendars at the same time, a 260-day ritual calendar and a 365-day solar calendar. Every day had a unique name and number in both systems, creating a 52-year cycle. Religion was everything. It was woven into the fabric of daily life. The Aztec pantheon was full of powerful deities, and specific rituals and ceremonies marked the days on their calendars. A central practice of their religion was sacrifice. It was seen as a way of giving back, of thanking the gods and ensuring the continuation of the cycle of life. Humans were considered responsible for the sun's rebirth and for paying the earth back for its fertility. And while human sacrifice was common among many Mesoamerican cultures, the Aztecs took it to a whole new level. For the inauguration of the Great Pyramid of Tenochtitlan in 1487, Aztec and Spanish records claim that 80,000 prisoners were sacrificed over 4 days. Historians today think that number is likely an exaggeration, but some still estimate that around 20,000 people were sacrificed across the empire every single year. Death was seen as essential for the perpetuation of creation. By 1519, the empire was at its absolute peak, and then everything changed. A small group of Spanish conquistadors, led by Hernán Cortés, arrived. The Spanish allied themselves with city-states that hated the Aztecs. A brutal, bloody war against Tenochtitlan began. After the city fell on August 13, 1521, and the emperor was captured, the Spanish founded Mexico City on the ruins of Tenochtitlan. The arrival of the Europeans also brought something even deadlier than cannons: disease, smallpox, typhus, and measles, viruses against which the native population had no immunity, swept through the Aztec cities. A massive smallpox epidemic devastated the population of Tenochtitlan, a decisive factor that led to the city's fall. With the empire's structure destroyed, the Spanish used the existing network of city-states to rule. Local nobles swore loyalty to the Spanish crown and converted to Christianity. In exchange, they were allowed to keep their noble status. These nobles acted as middlemen, collecting taxes and organizing labor for their new Spanish lords, cementing colonial rule. For centuries, the Aztecs were painted as savage barbarians, but over time, that image was replaced by a more romanticized vision, a highly developed culture that rivaled the great ancient civilizations of Europe. The Aztec story became fundamental to the formation of Mexico's national identity. Even today, the Mexican flag features that legendary vision, a golden eagle perched on a cactus, devouring a snake. This Aztec image has been a powerful symbol of Mexican politics and culture for centuries. At its height, the Aztec culture had rich and complex traditions, with remarkable architectural and artistic achievements. Today, the legacy of the Aztecs is alive and well in Mexico. Archaeological sites are open to the public, their artifacts displayed in museums. Words and place names from the Aztec language are still part of the everyday vocabulary of the Mexican people, keeping the memory of this fascinating civilization alive.
Subscribe to the Vault of Chronicles channel. Stories you've never heard, every day here. Subscribe to the Vault of Chronicles channel. Stories you've never heard, every day here.